Method Man says Wu-Tang Clan is the Nirvana of our time. And there's a quote that I pulled up. It says, Meth continued acknowledging that their music is a foundational text for many a music fan. He compared Wu-Tang's effect on music at large to bands like Metallica and Nirvana. He said that music is so relevant to them today. They want to play it for their kids, he explained. It's them trying to tell them this is your music education. This is where you should start it at. It's the same way they are rabid about when the grunge was out and even heavy metal. And those guys were straight, he said those guys were straight bums. They dressed like bums, but they were zillionaires for music. Look at Metallica. You see those guys, they ain't got the big chains or none of that. You know, it's grungy. And Wu-Tang and Wu-Tang defined, you could call it grunge rap. Let's call it that, grunge hip hop. That's exactly what it was. So we were the Nirvana of our time. So we were all alive for Nirvana, obviously, and Wu-Tang. So I'll throw it out to you guys and see how you felt about that statement. Is that a fair comparison, fair assessment?
I don't know. I guess I don't really have much to talk about. I mean, I guess that the Metallica. So
I'm not feeling it,
man. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't know on that one.
Not feeling it, dog.
Even what I read from the grunge standpoint and the grunge hip hop comparison to grunge rock, or that didn't spark anything. Nothing.
I mean, I guess they're a little grungy. You know, like Metallica is less grungy than what Nirvana was. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Makes me wonder if he listened to Metallica.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think the interesting point of everything that you said was, you know, this is what kids or grown-ups are playing for their kids. Like, you need to start here or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I doubt people that are like real big fans of Nirvana would start with Nirvana. You know, like especially grunge. Like they would probably go earlier than that, to the earlier, you know, the 80s before Nirvana. But
I don't think.
And even more so, rock music. You're going to go to the 70s or late 60s.
That's where I would start. Yeah, if it was me, I'll start the 70s. But jump in, Jay Diff. Sorry about that.
Nah, it's cool. I just think that he totally missed the mark. I hate to check somebody that's a Wu-Tang member.
Come on now, be careful now.
On their own status. But I mean, Wu-Tang is Wu-Tang. There is no we're the Nirvana of this generation or our generation. Wu-Tang was out at around the same time. It may be a year or two difference or something like that.
Mic drop statement.
But Wu-Tang, what's that?
So that's a mic drop statement. You really don't have to say anything else. Like, that's it. It's like,
I mean, but
Wu-Tang is Wu-Tang.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
At the same time, for him to even, my whole thing with that is, it's almost like you're taking away from yourself, essentially, because you're saying that your Wu-Tang is the Nirvana of this generation, when Wu-Tang has been way more prominent. I could be wrong.
And influential.
Since they first came out. Since they came out, since they arrived. I mean, Nirvana had how many albums and how many world tours and influence-wise. There's no more grunge.
Died. Like Kurt Cobain died in like 95, 6?
No,
94?
94. It was earlier than that. 93.
See,
like,
you know what's messed up? We don't. We can't even nail it down exactly what year it was. Yeah. You know, like I can tell you. Like it's messed up. And the thing is, like, I'm a music dude. I can tell you exactly what year we lost Big. You know,
it's 4 or 5. Yeah,
man.
So it's, but you know, like Wu-Tang is. I think it's an interesting. Maybe it's psychological to feel like maybe it's. I mean, we know how whiteness is spread around the world, right? And so, does Method Man really believe the Wu-Tang Clan is smaller than Nirvana?
That shit's crazy. I mean, even when you think about, like, say Nirvana, you take Dave Grohl, who was the drummer for Nirvana, and went on to what was the group? Foo Fighters. Okay, that was a whole different style. It wasn't even grunge. So the grunge era pretty much died with Nirvana. Wu-Tang
literally
continues to this day. Like, there's still people being influenced on Wu-Tang. You don't see anybody walking around dressed like Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain and them back when they were Nirvana. Or even, I mean, you have the emo kids and stuff like that, but that whole scene technically, for lack of better words, died with Kurt Cobain.
I can say this. I mean, I know it's completely anecdotal because it's just me, but like I can actually pinpoint the moment when I went from being an alternative kind of grunge rock fan into hip hop, and it was literally when Kurt Cobain died. And when that happened, I stopped listening to rock music, and then all of a sudden, I think the first couple records, and this was a couple years later, that actually got me into hip hop was Wu-Tang, was an Inspector Deck album, and it was like
Uncontrolled Substance.
Yep, it was Uncontrolled Substance. So it's like literally one went into the other for me. So,
well,
I don't know, man.
I think Jay Moore said too earlier before we even came on. He was talking about how it pretty much sells Wu-Tang short, essentially. Speak on that.
No, I think it really does. When you talk about the overall influence of Wu-Tang Clan, that is still felt today. Like they're still doing documentaries and TV shows and about Wu-Tang Clan. And this is the thing I hate more than anything. And, you know, this might be a controversial take, but, you know, like that's
Talk to him. Talk to him.
I hate when we always got to compare what we're doing to some white group. Well, you know, it's like,
I agree.
You know, and I hear like, you know, all of our, you know, I can see where they're trying to make a comparison, but like even when Chuck D says, yo, we're the Rolling Stones of hip hop, you know, because of the longevity and the fact that we can still tour. I mean, I get it, but you know, look, you're the public enemy of just being public enemy. You know, I remember like Peter Rosenberg said some goofy shit like about Tribe Called Quest being I don't even know who he compared him to, but I was like, that's insulting. Why do we always have to compare what it is that we've created? And we never compare it to like, the Wu-Tang Clan is the Temptations of hip hop, you know,
or the Parliament or something like that,
or the Parliament or the Four Tops. We always got to compare it to some white group, you know, who has done something that maybe is that I feel like Wu-Tang Clan's influence and what they've done. I mean, it's unfortunately partially because of Kurt Cobain, you know, killing himself back in 1994. Shout out to the chat for correcting us and making sure that we're on point with that. But Wu-Tang Clan has eclipsed anything that Nirvana has contributed to the culture overall, not just hip hop culture, but I'm talking about the culture overall.
It's not even close.
It's selling the influence of Wu-Tang short. And, you know, like I said, we are in a position to where we have so much influence over not just hip hop culture, but culture to where we don't have to compare what it is that we've accomplished to the Rolling Stones or the Beatles or Bob Dylan or whoever. It was like,
who are all great artists, by the way. These are all great.
Yeah, nothing against them, but like,
to your point.
If anything, you know, compares the Temptations are still out here. You know, I know Otis is the only original member left, but they're still out here. They're going to be performing somewhere on New Year's Eve. You know, in
a room full of masks.
Tribute bands left. Yeah. So I'm just saying, we don't have to do this anymore to where we compare whatever it is we've created to make white people or whoever understand what it is that we've created and it contributed to the culture to make them understand. We need to stop doing that.
Jump in, Jay Diff. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I just think it's corny overall that people are pretty much like their art form in itself.
Yeah.
That has exceeded what their predecessors have done. And it's like you still want to backtrack and kind of lower yourself and give them credit, per se, for what you've done, when actually you've carved a whole new lane. So if you've carved your own lane, why are you trying to jump in somebody else's lane or give them credit for it? That makes no sense.
Hey, at the end of the day, from an impact standpoint, culturally, you can put it in rap, whatever you want to call it, there's really no comparison. I like Jay Moore's point as well, because there's so many iconic Black groups, timeless groups that you could use as a reference point. I like what you also said about Chuck D and Public Enemy. They are their own entity in themselves. I say that to say that they're still legendary hip hop act. Culturally, just their impact has been crazy. So y'all all make good points on that. Like, I think that's definitely selling. Memphis selling them a little short on their overall impact. Like, you can go to any store in America and find a Wu-Tang t-shirt. Walmart got them. Meyer got them. You know what I'm saying? You can find that logo anywhere. Stickers, journeys. It don't matter.
I guess you don't realize that hip hop is at the forefront of our culture right now. And
he might not
have to get nobody credit for shit.
He might not. That's a good point.
All that. Dead that shit, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a wrap for that.
You're already there, Meth.
Yeah, you're already there, bro.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/bringingdowntheband and join our private Discord community with talks on hip-hop, music, news, and everything else.